The city was alive with neon reflections bouncing off slick asphalt, the hum of engines and distant sirens blending into an unsettling symphony of the night. Detective Maya Reyes sat behind the wheel of her patrol car, gripping the steering wheel a little too tightly. She had been on this shift for nearly 12 hours, but the restlessness in her veins wouldn't allow her to slow down. Something about the city tonight felt off. Her instincts were proven right the instant she noticed the sleek black SUV cutting recklessly through the intersection, tires screeching as it narrowly avoided a delivery van. Its tinted windows hid the driver's face, but the vehicle moved with a confidence and desperation that screamed trouble. Maya flicked on her lights and sirens, her voice cracking through the radio. Unit 12 in pursuit of a black SUV heading north on 7th Avenue. Be advised, suspect is dangerous and possibly armed. Inside the SUV, a figure hunched behind the wheel, masked and tense. Clutched tightly in his arms was a nondescript black briefcase, its significance hidden from the world outside the vehicle. The driver's eyes darted nervously, flicking from rearview mirror to side mirror, calculating every turn, every acceleration, every narrow escape. He knew that one mistake could cost him his life, or worse. The chase was instantaneous and violent. Maya's patrol car surged forward, tires skidding slightly on the wet roads. Around her, the city was alive with chaos. A pedestrian screamed as the SUV swerved inches from him. A cyclist barely avoided being caught in the crossfire, and the red and white streaks of brake lights painted the streets like a living painting of panic. Up ahead, Alex Turner sat in his aging sedan, trapped in traffic, mindlessly scrolling through his phone. He never expected to be part of a story like this. The sudden roar of engines snapped him out of his reverie, and instinctively he grabbed his dashboard camera. He had no idea that by doing so, he was about to record evidence that could change lives. The chase darted down alleyways and side streets, weaving between trucks, taxis, and unsuspecting cars. Maya matched every move with precision, her heart racing, her eyes locked on the fleeing vehicle. Around a sharp corner, the SUV clipped a street lamp post, sending sparks flying. Yet the driver didn't falter. The chase had become a dangerous dance, a battle of skill and nerve. "Back up on the way, Reyes," crackled Sam Ortiz's voice over the radio. Maya didn't answer. There was no time. The streets had turned into a labyrinth of danger, and one misstep could mean death for the suspect, the innocent, or her. Suddenly, the SUV swerved violently onto the highway, narrowly missing a family minivan, the tires squealing in protest. Maya followed, adrenaline pumping, feeling the edge of fear and determination blend into a singular focus. Cars swerved out of the way, horns blaring, engines revving, and somewhere in the cacophony, the pulse of the city seemed to sync with her own. The chase stretched across overpasses and under bridges, the black SUV always a heartbeat ahead. Then came the first sign that this was no ordinary getaway. A gunshot echoed from the highway, sharp and terrifying. Maya's heart skipped. The sound wasn't coming from the patrol car. She realized in a cold flash that the driver wasn't just fleeing, someone was targeting him. Her radio buzzed frantically. "Shots fired! Shots fired! All units, proceed with extreme caution." Ahead, the SUV's movements became erratic. It swerved violently, tires leaving smoky trails on the asphalt. Pedestrians scattered, and even the most experienced drivers were frozen in shock. Alex's dash cam captured every moment, the flicker of headlights, the spray of sparks from a near-miss collision, and the sudden flash of a gun barrel from a vehicle behind the SUV. Maya's stomach churned. This was no ordinary chase. It was a trap. She knew instinctively that the driver's death might not be an accident. Someone had orchestrated this. And if she didn't move fast, she would be the next to confront this unseen predator. The SUV turned sharply into an abandoned industrial area, the concrete and steel of old warehouses looming like silent witnesses. Maya followed, tires crunching on gravel and debris. Her radio was alive with static, the urgency in her colleagues' voices rising with each passing second. Somewhere in the darkness, she caught glimpses of movement, the flash of a second car that had been tailing the SUV all along. A moment of chaos erupted. The SUV hit a chain-link fence, bouncing off with a metallic screech. Maya's heart pounded in her ears. The masked driver struggled, one hand holding the briefcase, the other gripping the steering wheel. Then came the shot, close, precise, and devastating. The SUV swerved violently and came to a stop, smoke curling from the tires, its engine stuttering. The driver slumped over, unmoving. Maya skidded to a stop behind the vehicle, guns drawn, adrenaline coursing through her veins. She approached cautiously, every instinct screaming danger. Inside, the driver's mask obscured his face, but the pool of blood on the seat was unmistakable. He was dead, and the briefcase was gone. The industrial area was eerily silent now, save for the distant hum of the city beyond. Maya's radio crackled again, voices tense with urgency, but none could answer the question gnawing at her mind. Who had killed the driver, and why? Alex, still in his car at the edge of the lot, watched with wide eyes, his dash cam still rolling. He didn't know it yet, but the footage he captured would soon become one of the most crucial pieces of evidence in uncovering a conspiracy that reached higher and deeper than anyone could imagine. Maya stepped back, her eyes scanning the shadows of the warehouse, every sense alert. Somewhere out there, the shooter was still moving. Somewhere out there, the briefcase and the explosive secrets it contained was being carried into the hands of someone dangerous. Her phone buzzed. A text message appeared. Simple, ominous. "You're closer than you think." Her fingers tightened around the gun in her hand. The night had just begun, and the chase, she realized, was far from over. Above, the city's neon glow shimmered, reflecting off the puddles left by an earlier rain. But in the abandoned industrial area, darkness reigned, hiding secrets, lies, and murder. Maya Reyes took a deep breath. Whatever it took, she was going to uncover the truth, even if it meant chasing it into hell. The abandoned industrial lot was eerily silent in the aftermath of the chase. Smoke rose from the crumpled black SUV, curling into the night sky like ghostly fingers, and the only sounds were the distant hum of the city and the crackle of police radios. Detective Maya Reyes crouched near the vehicle, her gloved hands hovering above the evidence, heart pounding. The driver's lifeless body slumped over the steering wheel, the mask still in place, hiding whatever clues his face might have revealed. Backup had arrived, filling the lot with flashing red and blue lights that reflected off broken windows and puddles on the gravel. Officers scurried about, cordoning off the scene, taking photos and collecting what little evidence they could find. Maya's sharp eyes scanned the SUV, shattered glass, skid marks, and the faint smell of gunpowder. This was no ordinary chase gone wrong. This was an execution staged in the shadows. "Detective Reyes?" a uniformed officer called, his voice tense. "The briefcase, it's missing." Maya froze. The stolen briefcase, the one the driver had risked everything to protect, was gone. Someone had taken it in the chaos, and whoever it was, they'd planned this. She rubbed her temple, trying to suppress the frustration that surged through her. "Keep everyone back," she ordered, her voice calm but sharp. "I don't want anyone touching a thing until we know what we're dealing with." Nearby, Alex Turner finally stepped out of his car, dash cam in hand, looking pale and shaken. His presence drew Maya's attention immediately. "You were filming?" she asked, eyeing the camera. I didn't know what else to do," Alex stammered. "I didn't even mean to get involved. It happened so fast." Maya nodded. "Good. That footage might just be the key to figuring out who's behind this." They moved toward a police van where Sam Ortiz, Maya's partner, was examining a set of bullet casings. His brow furrowed as he turned over the evidence, connecting trajectories in his mind. "Detective," he said, gesturing to the SUV, "these shots weren't random. Whoever did this knew exactly how to hit their target. And look at this." He pointed to a subtle dent on the rear panel of the SUV, where it seemed a second vehicle had clipped the driver's side intentionally, forcing him to lose control. The thought chilled Maya. The driver hadn't just been chased, he had been manipulated, herded like a pawn into a trap. Maya reviewed Alex's dashcam footage. The images were shaky but revealing. She could make out two vehicles following the SUV, one that stayed just behind, another weaving through the traffic like a predator circling its prey. And then the gunshot, a flash of a barrel, the exact moment the driver was hit, and the briefcase shifted in his lap, almost teasingly, like it was meant to be taken. "This isn't just a chase, it's a setup," Maya muttered under her breath. But setup for what, and for whom? The investigation led them deeper into the mystery. Maya's team started interrogating nearby witnesses. Some saw the gunman, some only saw the SUV careening through traffic, and all were terrified by the sheer chaos. Statements were conflicting, messy, and unreliable. Yet through the confusion, a pattern emerged. The SUV driver wasn't acting alone. Someone higher up had orchestrated this entire sequence, and the briefcase was the centerpiece. A lead came from the footage itself. A partial license plate appeared in a reflection on a storefront window before the SUV entered the industrial lot. It was traced to Marcus Hale, a high-profile corporate executive with a reputation for ruthlessness. His public persona was polished, calculating, and untouchable, yet Maya couldn't shake the feeling there was more beneath the surface. Hale's business dealings were murky at best, and he had plenty of reasons to want the contents of that briefcase buried. As they pieced together the puzzle, more questions arose. Why would someone go to such lengths to execute the driver while leaving the briefcase behind, albeit temporarily? And why was Alex's footage partially corrupted, with certain frames missing or inexplicably blurred? Someone didn't want the truth to be seen. Maya returned to the SUV, crouching by the open driver's side door. She noticed small scuff marks on the interior, fingerprints smudged into the leather. There were traces of a powdery substance near the door handle. These weren't accidental. Someone had planted something, perhaps a chemical or a tracking marker. Her mind raced. The driver might have known too much, and now someone was systematically cleaning up after him. Meanwhile, Marcus Hale was already on the radar. His office was high-rise, glass and steel, reflecting the city below like a fortress. Maya had been briefed. No criminal record, impeccable public image, and connections reaching into law enforcement itself. Hale's calm demeanor belied a dangerous mind, one that could manipulate events from behind a desk as easily as others did from the streets. The deeper Maya dug, the more she realized she was dealing with someone untouchable, at least for now. As part 2 unfolded, the tension escalated. Alex, still shaken, insisted on showing Maya the dashcam footage in full, replaying each frame slowly. They noticed something disturbing. In the reflection of a street sign, a shadowy figure stood at the edge of the lot before the SUV crashed, clearly holding a gun, watching. The silhouette matched no witness description, and the anonymity was deliberate. The shooter wasn't random, he was targeted. The night deepened, and the industrial lot became a stage of unanswered questions. Forensics teams dusted for fingerprints, collected bullet fragments, and examined tire tracks, but the mystery only grew. Whoever orchestrated this had planned meticulously, leaving just enough clues to tease the authorities without giving away the full picture. Maya walked the perimeter, taking mental notes. She knew instinctively that the briefcase, containing financial records, names, and incriminating documents, held the key. But before she could take the next step, her phone buzzed again. Another text appeared, chilling in its simplicity. "Stop digging or you'll be next." Her grip tightened on the device. Someone was watching, tracking her every move. Someone wanted the case buried, and they would stop at nothing to ensure it. Maya's eyes darted to the shadows, scanning every corner of the warehouse lot. The city's neon glow in the distance seemed distant and irrelevant compared to the darkness pressing around her. Somewhere, in the silence, the briefcase was moving closer to the hands of a person capable of murder without hesitation. Alex turned to her, his voice trembling. "Detective, you think the driver was working for someone?" Maya didn't answer immediately. She studied the wrecked SUV, the scattered evidence, and the ominous emptiness of the lot. "Not just someone," she said finally. "Someone dangerous, someone with power, and they're not done yet." The night stretched on, tension thick in the air. Police drones hovered, cameras recorded, and detectives worked tirelessly, yet the true players remained hidden. Every lead seemed to open a new door to more questions, more danger, more deceit. And then Maya noticed something subtle, a tire track leading away from the crash site, partially concealed by loose gravel. It was fresh, and it didn't match the SUV or any of the police vehicles. Someone had retrieved the briefcase, and the trail was their only mistake. Her pulse quickened. The chase had ended, but the real pursuit was just beginning. Whoever orchestrated this would stop at nothing to bury the truth, and Maya Reyes knew with chilling certainty that uncovering it would place her directly in the line of fire. The night whispered promises of betrayal, danger, and secrets too explosive to imagine. Maya Reyes took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was coming. The chase was over, but the hunt had only begun. The city had gone quiet by the early hours, but Maya Reyes felt no relief. The industrial lot had been cleared, but the weight of unanswered questions pressed down on her. The briefcase was gone, the driver was dead, and someone out there was watching her every move. She and Detective Sam Ortiz sat in the small, dimly lit interrogation room at the precinct, reviewing Alex Turner's dashcam footage frame by frame. The grainy images flickered across the monitor, the SUV weaving through traffic, the second car lurking behind it, the flash of the gun that had ended the chase. But there was more, subtle hints that had gone unnoticed in the chaos. "Look here," Sam said, pausing on a frame. "See that shadow just at the edge of the lot before the crash?" Maya leaned closer. The silhouette was blurry, but it was unmistakable. Someone standing, gun in hand, patient, calculating. Not random, not opportunistic. Someone who knew exactly how to orchestrate a perfect hit. "Whoever did this knew everything," Maya said. "Every turn, every alley, every escape route. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong. It was planned." Alex, sitting quietly in the corner, swallowed nervously. "Detective, you really think someone set him up?" Maya nodded. "Not just set him up. They wanted him dead, and they wanted the briefcase. That's what we need to find. Who wants it bad enough to kill?" Her thoughts drifted to Marcus Hale, the corporate executive whose partial license plate had been traced to the second vehicle. His public image was flawless: philanthropy, charity dinners, and media appearances. But Maya had learned long ago that people who appeared clean on the surface often hid the darkest secrets. "I've been digging," Sam said. "Hale's company recently had a massive embezzlement leak, millions missing, and there are connections to law enforcement. Someone high up, someone untouchable is protecting him." Maya rubbed her forehead. It made sense. The briefcase wasn't just financial records. It contained names, dates, accounts, proof that could bring down powerful people. No wonder someone had orchestrated the SUV's demise so meticulously. As they pieced together the timeline, Maya noticed a pattern in the corrupted dashcam footage. Certain frames had been deliberately erased, moments that likely captured the shooter's face or the briefcase being taken. Someone was trying to control the narrative, to hide the truth from everyone, even from the police. Determined to follow every lead, Maya arranged to meet Alex privately. They drove across the city in silence, the tension thick between them. When they arrived at a secluded coffee shop, Maya slid into the booth opposite him. "Alex, I need every frame of that dash cam. Nothing missing, nothing cropped. If someone's manipulating the footage, we need the original file." He nodded, hands trembling as he handed her the memory card. "I didn't even notice it was corrupted until this morning. I didn't mean to get involved in any of this." "You didn't get involved, Alex. You are involved now, and we need you to help." Back at the precinct, Maya inserted the card into a secure workstation. The original footage revealed subtle details that had been obscured in the copy: reflections in windows, glimpses of faces, tire tracks leading away from the crash site. One frame caught her breath. The shooter's silhouette wasn't just any thug, it was someone familiar, someone Maya had seen before. A memory surfaced. Months ago, she had met this man briefly during an undercover operation. He had posed as a security officer at a corporate gala. At the time, she hadn't thought much of him. Now, seeing him on the dash cam, she realized he had been waiting, watching, and manipulating events all along. Marcus's voice interrupted her thoughts. "Detective, we found something else." He held up a small folder. Inside were financial documents connecting Marcus Hale to a personal security firm, the same firm Maya had suspected. Contracts, payments, and schedules aligned perfectly with the night of the chase. Hale had hired someone to ensure the driver never reached his destination. Maya's stomach twisted. So the chase, the crash, the murder, it was all Hale's plan. But why go to such extremes? Why not just intercept the briefcase quietly? Sam shook his head. Because someone else was involved. The driver wasn't just carrying financial records. He had proof implicating someone inside the police department. That's why the hit had to be public, chaotic. It sent a message. Maya realized the scope of the conspiracy. This wasn't just corporate greed, it was corruption bleeding into law enforcement. Someone high-ranking had a vested interest in keeping their secrets buried, and now Maya herself had become a target. Late that night, as Maya reviewed the evidence alone in her office, a flicker of movement outside her window made her freeze. Shadows shifted in the street below. She reached for her gun, heart hammering. Whoever orchestrated the SUV's crash wasn't finished. They were watching her, testing her. Her phone buzzed. A new text message appeared, more chilling than the last. "Stop digging or you'll end up like him." Maya's fingers tightened around her phone. The threat was clear, but her resolve hardened. Whoever was behind this had underestimated her. She wasn't going to back down. Over the next days, Maya and Sam worked tirelessly, tracing financial trails, interviewing witnesses, and cross-referencing every clue. They discovered that the driver had been an informant for an anonymous whistleblower network, attempting to expose corporate fraud intertwined with police corruption. The briefcase wasn't just valuable, it was explosive. Alex's footage provided the breakthrough. The reflections captured in his dashcam revealed a second vehicle approaching the SUV just before the crash, the very car that had forced the driver into the industrial lot. And in a rare fleeting frame, the shooter's face was partially visible. Maya's heart skipped. It was the same man from the security firm, the one who had been quietly watching her movements for weeks. Maya and Sam realized the conspiracy extended further than they imagined. The shooter wasn't just working for Marcus Hale, he was also a trusted enforcer for someone in the police department, someone who had the power to manipulate investigations and cover tracks. The truth was so tangled, so unbelievable, that even Maya felt a shiver run down her spine. Determined, Maya prepared for the confrontation. She knew that uncovering the briefcase's location, exposing Marcus Hale, and catching the shooter would require precision, courage, and the willingness to confront danger head-on. Every step forward was a step into a trap, but retreat wasn't an option. The park closed with Maya on a rooftop, overlooking the city, phone in hand. She watched the streets below, searching for any sign of movement. Her thoughts lingered on the driver, the man who had risked everything, only to be murdered in cold blood. And she knew, deep in her gut, that the answers were close, terrifyingly close. The hunt was about to enter its final phase. The puzzle pieces were aligning, the players were revealed, and the truth, shocking and unbelievable, was ready to surface. But before justice could be served, Maya would have to confront betrayal, danger, and the terrifying realization that some secrets were worth killing for. The city skyline glittered like a sea of stars, but for Detective Maya Reyes, the beauty of the night offered no comfort. Every light, every shadow seemed like a potential threat. The chase was over, the crash behind her, but the danger was far from finished. Somewhere in the darkness, the mastermind behind the SUV driver's murder was still at large, and Maya now knew the truth was more sinister than she could have imagined. She had pieced together the fragments. Marcus Hale, the untouchable corporate executive, had orchestrated the chase to ensure the driver, an informant carrying the explosive briefcase, never revealed what he knew. But the plot ran deeper. Hale's personal security chief, a man Maya had encountered months ago under the guise of a corporate bodyguard, had carried out the execution with precision. Even worse, evidence suggested he had allies within the police department, making him almost untouchable. Maya's phone buzzed. It was Alex, the young witness who had unknowingly filmed the key moments of the chase. "Detective, I think I found something else in the footage," Alex said, voice shaking. "Frames that were corrupted before. I managed to recover a few. You need to see this." Maya arrived at the safe house where Alex had been staying since the crash. On the monitor, she watched closely as the recovered frames played. The briefcase was transferred to a second vehicle, and the shooter's face was partially visible, unmistakably the same man she had seen months ago at the corporate gala. But there was another detail, a subtle hand gesture, a signal to someone else in the shadows, someone else orchestrating the plan. The conspiracy ran deeper than Hale himself. Maya turned to Sam Ortiz, who had been reviewing financial transactions tied to Hale's company. "It's all connected," she said. "Hale didn't act alone. Someone in law enforcement is covering for him, someone with enough influence to manipulate investigations." Sam rubbed his face, grim. "So who do we take down first? The shooter, Hale, or the cop inside the department?" Maya didn't answer immediately. She thought about the SUV driver, his last desperate attempts to deliver the briefcase, the chaos of the chase, and the fact that they were now closing in on someone willing to kill without hesitation. "We corner the shooter first. He's the key to finding the briefcase and exposing Hale. Once he talks, we unravel the rest." The city's docks, abandoned warehouses, and industrial labyrinths became their stage. Surveillance cameras, drone feeds, and Alex's dash cam footage helped Maya track the shooter's movements. Every step closer brought adrenaline, fear, and anticipation. Maya could feel the trap forming, the tension tightening like a noose. Finally, they pinpointed him, a secluded warehouse near the waterfront. Maya, Sam, and a small tactical team approached under cover of darkness. The The doors creaked as they entered, the shadows swallowing them, and there he was, Marcus Hale's security chief, calm, collected, unaware that the net was closing around him. "Freeze!" Maya's voice rang out, authoritative, cutting through the silence. The man's head snapped up, eyes narrowing. For a moment, the warehouse seemed frozen in time. "You don't understand what you're walking into, detective. This isn't just about the briefcase. It's bigger than you can imagine." Maya raised her gun. "I've been inside the dark before. I can handle bigger." The shooter smirked, slowly raising his hands but keeping one hand near his waistband. Tension crackled like electricity. Maya signaled to Sam, who circled to block any escape. Suddenly, Hale himself emerged from the shadows, flanked by 2 bodyguards. The calm, untouchable executive looked almost casual, but his eyes betrayed a calculating mind. "Detective Reyes," he said smoothly, "I didn't expect you to make it this far. Impressive." Maya's heart pounded. Everything she had uncovered pointed to this moment. "It's over, Hale. The briefcase is evidence. Your corruption, your murders, everything will come out." Hale chuckled. "You think it's that simple? The driver, the briefcase? He was a pawn, and now you're playing in a game you can't win." The tension snapped. The security chief lunged for his gun, but Sam was faster, tackling him to the ground. Maya trained her weapon on Hale, every second stretching into eternity. In the struggle, one of Hale's bodyguards reached for the briefcase, but Maya kicked it away, sending it sliding across the concrete floor. Chaos erupted, shots fired, shouts echoed, and the warehouse became a storm of movement. Maya's training took over, precise, methodical, and unflinching. She disarmed the remaining threats, securing Hale and his security chief. Breathing heavily, she finally held the recovered briefcase in her hands. The weight of it was more than physical. It carried the power to expose corruption, fraud, and murder. The files inside detailed every transaction, every payment, and every illegal deal. The evidence was undeniable. But the biggest shock came when reviewing the recovered dash cam footage. The SUV driver, now revealed in clearer frames, had actually staged part of the chase. He had intended to lead authorities to Hale and expose the conspiracy, knowing full well he might not survive. His death had been part of an elaborate plan to ensure the truth reached someone trustworthy, and Maya had become that person. Maya stared at the footage, awe and disbelief mingling with sorrow. The driver had sacrificed himself to bring justice, and only a combination of luck, skill, and determination had allowed her to uncover it. With Hale and his accomplices in custody, Maya filed the evidence, watching as the web of corruption unraveled. Financial institutions froze accounts, police internal affairs launched investigations, and news outlets reported the shocking arrests. The city reacted with disbelief. No one had imagined the lengths some would go to hide the truth. Alex, who had unwittingly become the linchpin in the investigation, watched Maya with wide eyes. "Detective, I still can't believe it. The driver, he planned all of this?" Maya nodded, fatigue etched into her face. "Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. He knew the risk. He knew he might not survive, but he made sure the right person had the evidence." As the city breathed a tentative sigh of relief, Maya stood on the rooftop of the precinct, looking at the skyline. The chase had ended, the murder solved, and justice served. Yet the shadows of corruption still lingered. She knew that darkness always found a way back, that power and greed never disappeared entirely. But for now, the nightmare was over. The briefcase, once the centerpiece of a deadly game, was secured. Marcus Hale and his network were behind bars, and Detective Maya Reyes, having stared into the heart of betrayal and danger, had emerged victorious. Yet in the silence of the night, she couldn't shake one thought. In a city like this, the truth was always unbelievable, and sometimes it demanded the ultimate price.